So joining us next here in studio is Michael Koenigs. He's host and executive producer of ABC's More in Common. Let's watch a quick trailer of his show, and then we'll throw it to him.
There are over 300 million people in America, and it's easy to think we have nothing in common.
I was part of a skinhead group.
Me and him was ready to kill each other at one point in time.
People in the community forget that we're human beings.
You ever think you'd be sitting next to Brianna here in the Scouts?
No.
But if you look hard, you'll find people across this country who overcome their differences.
So you play tennis right over that wall.
Yeah.
Neighbors who reach across divides.
No matter what gang you come from, we all are here as family.
Kids who see past distinctions.
I'm one of the first girls to be joining the Boy Scouts.
Relationships that inspire change.
You two are unlikely friends.
Yes.
These are the stories that remind us we actually have more in common.
Awesome. Love that, Michael. Welcome to Bold.
It's good to be here. Thanks for having me, folks. It's been a while. I saw her passing out sandwiches, volunteering over the holidays. So this is our second meeting.
Oh, so you guys are old friends.
Yeah.
Getting there.
Getting there, okay.
We made sandwiches.
Yeah.
A big group of people to give out.
So, Michael, I don't think it's any secret that we live in pretty divisive times. People can't seem to see eye to eye on an array of issues. And if you walk into a room full of Republicans and you mention you're a Democrat, they might kick you out, and vice versa. So how is your show aiming to combat this?
I think in a variety of ways. One is putting people who typically are sometimes enemies or just the most unlikely of friends together. And we're finding authentic examples of this. We're not forcing them together. These are sourced by calling nonprofits and seeing organic friendships that are happening and showing that to the world, because most people think you can't change. And in fact, if you're exposed to someone from the other side, you end up getting pulled a little bit toward the middle. And it's hard not to be a friend with somebody when they're treating you nicely. So that's what we've discovered on this show.
So what have been some of the more emotional or interesting moments that you've witnessed in filming the show?
I think our most viral episode, which got over 5 million views and tapped into something I think America's thinking about deeply, was about a guy who, a former member of the KKK, who becomes very close friends with a Syrian Muslim refugee. And to see this authentic friendship kind of blossom in rural Georgia, and see this guy who formerly was wearing, the full white robes go and give this refugee a massive hug, go to the dinner table with this guy, and really keep a friendship up where they're texting back and forth. It was amazing to see that kind of transformation in a person's life.
And what transformed him?
It was just the chance to sit down instead of seeing him on a screen, or it was being face to face with this guy who has done a lot really to help the family. Came with gifts, said, "Hey, look, I want you to know me." And he also admired the man who within 10 years had gone from scrubbing dishes in a kitchen to becoming on his way to being a cardiologist at one of the top universities in Atlanta. So he saw this guy and he said, if this immigrant can come and serve in that shape and form, and if he can, in this case, the cardiologist wants to help veterans. And the KKK member had been a former member of the Army, had been shooting, at a number of Muslims, and at the time was proud to do so. Sees this guy's trying to save the lives of former soldiers who were once shooting at populations not far from his hometown. And so it's just powerful when you have those kind of stories.
I think you kind of alluded to this. I think part of the problem maybe here is that, most of the conversations we're having with people from the, quote unquote other side are on social media or on a screen. And that's, you're not getting a human element there. So is that kind of what the show captures is, when you sit down with somebody and you see that they're not a monster and they're not going to bite your head off, it kind of changes the game.
Exactly. In fact, one of the more interesting examples of that was out in California. There was a woman who was her son had been killed. And she has a gun buyback program. They want to turn gun into art. One guy was trolling her, sent a couple posts up, and she said, look, I got to meet this guy. And something that initially was a troll became a friend. And so you're right, when you can get past the screens, when you can get past the vitriol and the comments, you can actually find a human being.
Yeah.
I've had trolls who have become my friends, so
That's right.
it's possible.
It can happen. It can happen.
So what's for 2019? What's on your docket? What are you looking to do?
So what's so exciting, I think this past season in 18, we were looking at Americans who are seemingly divided. And one of the exciting things is we're now going international, around the world, because I think we need to recognize that we're not that different from people living in other countries. And I think that in the American psyche is even greater now than it was a year ago. And so we're going to be going around the world finding stories of Americans and others coming past these national boundaries.
Where are you going?
Still trying to figure out all our hot spots, but jumping around the globe. So that's, I think, one of the most exciting things that we're doing. And we just shot 4 of our recent episodes. One was out in my home state of Colorado, where I was hitting the slopes with a mountain that's become a mecca for disabled skiers. And so one of them was blind. And as he's racing through the gates, he's getting signals from his buddy who's telling him, hey, turn left here.
That's
anyway,
amazing.
and they beat me down the mountain. I've been skiing my whole life.
That's very impressive.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
Wow.
blast.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thanks so much, Michael, for joining us.
Thank you,
you,
folks.
Michael.
Excited
And,
by what you're doing here at Bold, because I think it
yeah.
has a lot in common. So
Yeah, no,
thank you for having
absolutely.
me on.
And maybe you'll be piping into us from who knows where.
That's right.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Enjoy your
Awesome.
travels.